Hi everybody, so this is part 2 of the Ninja Turtles. You should already have the body part completed from part 1, and today we're going to be making the extra pieces. For this you're going to need about 103 bands for the color choice that you'd like to be using, whichever turtle you're making, 269 bands for the shell. I'm using the burgundy, you can use a brown or whatever you'd like. I'm using the neon green, about 83 bands. I'm going to be using my hook, a stitch marker, and you're also going to need some stuffing to fill the back of the shell. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. One of the knee pads and elbow pads, they're the exact same thing. I'm going to do 2 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do 2 more. You're going to use your loom for this part. I'm going to use the bottom peg. And I'm going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. With our last band here, you're going to see 2 extra bands. With our last one, we're going to close it off. I'm going to take a band and I'm going to wrap it around the peg 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now with your hook, you're going to pull the 7 bands through one at a time. Grab your first. On your hook, take the band and slide over and just bring it to the side. Go back in, band number 2, on your hook, 2 bands over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your 3rd stitch, on your hook and 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Go back in, on your hook, 2 bands over, back in, this is our 6th band, our 7th. You can remove off the loom, you don't need a stitch marker. Move your bands around, and we're going to do a slip knot through our first chain. So go in, and you want to bring a band through all of the loops that are on your hook, and give it a pull. Now I'm going to do a chain. I'm going to start off a chain, so I'm just going to go like right beside the slip knot, wherever you want to go here, and I'm going to just do 6 chains, 6 stitches. So I'm just going to go through and pull my band through and on my hook, and just continue with 6 bands. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to just kind of turn the magic circle, and I'm going to go right through the chain here. So I'm not going to go this way, I'm kind of going this way. And I'm going to do a slip knot with our band here and bring it through on my hook and slide. Give it a tug. Now I'm going to hide these 2 slip knots. So I'm just going to push our chain to the side. This is what it looks like. And I'm just going to go through this chain and kind of bring my slip knot through. You don't really need to. I'm just bringing it to the other side here. And I'm going to bring the slip knot through 1, 2, and 3 chains. You're going to see these little stitches here. Bring your band through. 1, 2, and 3. You could go another one if you want. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other slip knot, just on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. If you need to keep hiding them, just bring them through any of the stitches on the back there of the magic circle. And you could have it for the elbow or the knee. And we're going to do that one more time. We're making another of your elbow pads or your knee pads. We're going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring, and you're going to take one band and you're going to wrap it around your bottom peg 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. With your hook, bring your 7 bands through one at a time. Over to the side. Back in. Your 2 bands over to the side. Back in. 2 bands over and to the side. And just continue. Back in. Back in. And our last band, our 7th, bring through. Bring your 2 bands over and remove off the loom. We're going to do a slip knot. So I'm going to go through my first chain, bring a band through all of the loops on your hook and side. Round 2 of the elbow pads or the knee pad, you're going to do a single chain with 6 bands. So I'm going to go through my chain on my magic circle and bring my band through on my hook and continue using a total of 6 bands. Four, 5, and 6. I'm just going to turn this around and I'm going to go through the magic circle, your stitch here, and bring a band through all of the loops and do a slip knot. Now I'm going to go through this kind of chain right here, bring my band through, and I'm going to hide it through 3 of the stitches here on the back of the magic circle. I'm going to go through 2 and then 3. And I'm going to do that to the other slip knot, turning it around. And there we go. So you just want to make 2 more. Round 1 of the mask. I'm going to do the 2 eyes with you. And to do that, what we're going to do is 12 single crochets in the magic ring. I'm going to use a single band and I'm going to use the bottom part of my loom and I'm going to wrap it twice around the bottom peg. So that was 1 and 2. And now just normally how you would do a magic ring, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull 12 bands through one at a time. So it was 1, bring it to the side, go back in, 2, bring it to the side, back in, 3, and just continue. Back in, just go slowly, into the side if you need to, all the way around. I need to bring my loop over and continue. 2 bands over. And the last one. And you can remove off the loom. You should have 12 stitches. What you're going to do is either push this up to the middle of your hook and do another one, which I'm going to show you in a second, or you can place this somewhere on your loom. Let's do the other one. You're going to do 12 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take a single band and wrap it around the bottom peg twice, the bottom 2 pegs. And you're going to pull the 12 bands through. Just take your time. I'm just going to move these around. And you're going to remove off the loom. Now we're going to attach these 2 together. So what I'm going to do is I want them in the same direction, so they have to be like face together. So the one that I have here, I'm actually just going to grab it from the bottom. So I have the same 2 together. And then these are, yeah, the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 bands here that we have left, and I'm just going to slide through. So I have the 1 band on my hook, and I'm going to go through the next chain right beside, the next chain on the other side, and I'm going to bring a band through and do a slip knot. Bring it through all of the bands and just do a slip knot. For round 3, we're just going to do a single chain, like how we did for the elbow pads and the knee pads, and we're going to do 14 bands. With our 15th, we're going to do a slip knot. So you're going to pick the side that you want to have your mask on. I'm actually going to pick this side. It's up to you, which you prefer. And I'm going to go through the chain at the side here, and I'm going to do just a single chain with 14 bands. Now I'm going to catch the other side, and I'm just going to go, you're going to see, I'm going to go towards this side and bring a band through and do a slip knot. And again, you can just do the same thing by going through the chain, pulling your slip knot through so it's towards the inside, and just hide it by going through the little chains. Three or four, and you can do that with this middle one too. And then you can just attach this. And then just fix it up how you like. We're going to do the front part of our shell now. So I'm going to start off with our loom, and I'm going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take a single band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And bring 6 bands through, one at a time. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Attach your stitch marker. Round 2 of the shell, the front part, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain going around. So you just, at the end of round 2, you'll have 12 stitches by going in your first chain with 2 bands, one at a time. Your next chain with 2 bands, and just continue till you hit the stitch marker. The next with 2, two, you should have 12 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. Round 3 of the shell, we're going to, the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. Repeat 6 times, and at the end of round 3 you'll have 18 stitches. So in my first chain with 1, chain 2, you're going to add 2 bands, one at a time. Back in, and repeat. 1, 2 in the next. Repeat. 1, 2, and repeat. 2. Just keep going all the way till you hit the stitch marker. 1, 2 in the next. You should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. For round 4 of the shell here, we're going to, the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this 6 times. So you're going to increase on every third stitch. At the end of round 4, you'll have 24 stitches, and our last band, we're going to do a slip knot. So I'm going in the first chain with 1, chain 2, chain 3, with 2 bands, and repeat. 1, 1 in the next, 2. Repeat. 1, 1, 2. And again. Back in. One more time. 1, 1, and 2. Taking the last band to do a slip knot. Bring it through, on your hook, and slide. For round 5 of the shell, all I'm going to do is add 22 bands, and we're going to do slip knots. I don't think I need to do all of them, so long you just get the 22 or whatever you feel comfortable with doing. Going beside the slip knot, I'm going to add a band, grab the end, and the next chain. So just adding slip knots going all the way around, only using 22 bands. So I think you can pause the video and continue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew this piece on. All you're going to do is just bring the little loops, find wherever you want to have this set up. We're just going to bring the little loops through. So I'm going to just kind of nicely place this, and I'm going to grab the loop on the body and grab one of these little sewing bands and just go all the way around. You want to make sure that you don't grab underneath this piece. You want to kind of grab on the outside. Just making it even, like around. Try not to grab the stuffing. And just continue. I'm supporting this, just making sure it's coming even. I might have went too high, so I'm just going to take these 2 stitches out. I don't like that spot. I'm just going to take that one out. And I'm just going to grab, to close this off, I'm going to grab the body somewhere, one of the loops on the body, the shell in the body there, and I'm going to do a slip knot with a single band, bringing it through all of the loops. So I went through the shell first, then the body, slide it through all of the loops, and tie off. And then you can just pull out the stuffing if you have extra that you kind of caught. Round 1 of the inside part of the shell here. We're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So use the bottom part of your loom, a single band, and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to bring 6 bands through, one at a time. Your first band on your hook and bring your loop over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, 2 bands over, and bring to the side. Your next, same thing, 2 bands over, back in for another, to the side. Your 5th band, 2 bands over, and your 6th. 2 bands over, attach your stitch marker. I should really go face down. Remove off the loom and you should have 6 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on your hook. Round 2, the pattern is 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way around. At the end of round 2, you'll have 12 stitches. So you're just adding 2 bands to each chain around. In our first chain, 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. Our next chain with 2. Our next with 2. And just continue all the way around. Two in the next. And the last. Back in. You should have 12 stitches. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. For round 3, the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2. Repeat this 6 times. At the end of round 3, you'll have 18 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain with 1 band, and then chain 2, you're adding 2 bands. Go back in, and just repeat 1, 2 in the next. Back in, and repeat 1, 2. Back in, and just continue till you hit your stitch marker. Back in. For your last chain, you're adding 2. You should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. For round 4 of the shell, we are going to increase on every 3rd stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Repeat this 6 times. At the end of round 4, you'll have 24 stitches. Going in my first chain with 1. Next chain, 1. And then our 3rd chain, we're adding 2 bands. Repeat 1, 1, 2 in the next. Back in. Repeat 1, 1 in the next, and then 2. Back in. And repeat this 3 more times. Back in. In. So you should have 24 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. Round 5 of the shell, the pattern is 5 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So we're going to increase on every 6th stitch. You're going to repeat this pattern 4 times, and at the end of round 5, you'll have 28 stitches. With our last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So going in the first one with 1 band and slide. So you're just doing 5 single crochets. 1, 1, 1, our 4th band with 1, our 4th chain with 1, and our 5th chain with 1. Now on the 6th, you're adding 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in, and repeat. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Back in. Again. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 on our sixth. You just have to do this one more time. Two bands in the last chain, and our last band, slip knot to tie it closed through all of the bands. And you can remove the stitch marker. We're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring, so use the bottom part of your loom, a single band, and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to bring 6 bands through, one at a time. Your first band on your hook, and bring your loop over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, 2 bands over, and bring to the side. Your next, same thing, 2 bands over, back in for another, to the side. Your fifth band, 2 bands over, and your sixth. 2 bands over, attach your stitch marker. I should really go face down. Remove off the loom and you should have 6 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on your hook. Round 2, the pattern is 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way around. At the end of round 2, you'll have 12 stitches. So you're just adding 2 bands to each chain around. In our first chain, 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. Our next chain with 2. Our next with 2. And just continue all the way around. Two in the next. And the last. Back in. You should have 12 stitches. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. For round 3, the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2. Repeat this 6 times. At the end of round 3, you'll have 18 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain with 1 band, and then chain 2, you're adding 2 bands. Go back in, and just repeat. 1, 2 in the next. Back in, and repeat. 1, 2. Back in, and just continue till you hit your stitch marker. Back in. For your last chain, you're adding 2. You should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. For round 4 of the shell, we are going to increase on every third stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Repeat this 6 times. At the end of round 4, you'll have 24 stitches. Going in my first chain with 1. Next chain, 1. And then our third chain, we're adding 2 bands. Repeat, 1, 1, 2 in the next. Back in. Repeat, 1, 1 in the next. And then 2. Back in. And repeat this 3 more times. Back in. In. So you should have 24 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. Round 5 of the shell, the pattern is 5 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So we're going to increase on every 6th stitch. You're going to repeat this pattern 4 times, and at the end of round 5, you'll have 28 stitches. With our last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So going in the first one with 1 band and slide. So you're just doing 5 single crochets. 1, 1, 1, our 4th band with 1, our 4th chain with 1, and our 5th chain with 1. Now on the 6th, you're adding 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in and repeat. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Back in. Again. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 on our 6th. You just have to do this one more time. Two bands in the last chain, and our last band, slip knot to tie it closed through all of the bands. And you can remove the stitch marker. For round 6, all we're going to do is add 1 band to each chain around. 1, 1, 1, 1. So I'm going to use 28 bands. Our last band, we're just going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. You should have 28 stitches when you're done. So just continue going around with 1 band in each chain. Sorry. Our last band, slide it through and do a slip knot. Now we're going to be sewing our shell together. I'm going to be using 57 bands. What I'm going to do is in each chain, I'm going to be sewing them together. In each chain, I'm going to be using 2 bands, one at a time, which I'm going to show you. You're also going to need some stuffing. So after we fill it, we're going to leave a little bit of an opening and then we're going to put the stuffing inside. So you have your pieces. What you're going to do is you're going to kind of just flip one and put them together. So I have my bigger one here, and this is the smaller. I'm going to put them together, and with my hook, I'm going to go through the chain right beside the slip knot, and I'm going to go through the slip knot that's right here. Our last band, we're going to be doing a slip knot. So I'm going to take one band, and I'm going to bring it through and put on my hook. I'm going to take my second band and I'm going to bring this first loop over, put the other end on my hook, and slide. So again, I'm going to go through the chains on either side, grab my first band, bring it through the 2 chains on my hook, back through, bring it through the 2 chains on either side here. So you have 3 loops. Your second band, you just want to bring this first loop over. Grab the end and you have the 4 loops. You want to slide. Grabbing the chains on either side, 1 band, through the 2 chains, on your hook. You have the 3 loops. Now taking your second band, you're just bringing this first loop over. Grab the end and slide. So just continue doing the same thing. 1 band through the 2 chains, on your hook. Your second band, you're just bringing the first loop over. Grab the end, 4 loops, and slide. 2 chains, 1 band through. First loop over. The next, 3 loops, 1 band, first loop over, and slide. So you're just doing this all the way around, leaving a little spot for you to be able to stuff it. Just bringing the first loop over, Any point you can, anytime now, you could fill it. I'm going to do one more time here. And I'm just going to push this band up, and I'm going to add some stuffing and just put it right inside. You don't need a lot. I'm just going to use that much. And you're just going to continue. Now we just have one little section now. I'm just going to put my hook through. Grab the end and slide. And now I'm just going to take this band and I'm just going to catch, not on these bands that we just placed, just somewhere on the body here. And I'm just going to do a slip knot. And now I'm just going to hide these little bands here, little slip knots. And this is what you should have. Now to attach the shell to the back of the body, all I'm going to do is 6 little slip knots. So I'm going to put it down wherever you like to place it, like here, and I'm going to grab one of the loops on the body. So wherever you want to have it, I'm going to grab here. And I'm going to grab one of the loops on the back of the shell. And bring a band through and do a slip knot. Grab the end and tie it off. Now I'm going to go do the same thing on the top. I'm just going to grab one of the loops on the body at the back here, on the shell, and you're going to bring a band through and do a slip knot. Just slide it through all of the loops. Grab the end. Now I'm going to do one on either side. The body, then the shell, and bring a band through. The other side. And I'm going to add 2 on the top only. Wherever you would like to do it, this is where I've been adding them. So on the body, the shell, And now you can just take the slip knots and just pull them through the shell just to hide them. And you can do that all the way around. Now we're going to be making the belt. I'm going to be using 20 bands, and I'm just going to do a single chain. So I'm going to start off on the side of the shell. So I'm going to grab, not part of this part, I'm just going to grab like wherever you'd like to have it. I'm going to grab on the back of the shell a stitch. I'm going to grab one band, bring it through, grab the other end, and just do a chain. My last band, I'm going to catch the other side of the shell and do a slip knot. So just continue, just making a single chain. Slide it through, grab the end, and with the last band, I'm just going to grab on the other side, on the back of the shell here. You want to make sure that you're even. And you're going to bring a band through the belt and do a slip knot. And again, you can just hide that. So I'm just going to make this little knot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it up, and I'm just going to put my hook through one side and the other, and I'm going to pull this side through. And that's it. Now if you wanted to make little armbands, all I did was a single chain with 8 bands. And it's up to you if you'd like to do that, and you could add that on if you want. So we're done, and I do hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I will see you next time with another. Bye for now.